Oh, hey, good to see you. If you're here, then you obviously read the Abracadabra Club Mysteries too. The Desperate Magician, one of my favorites, let me tell you. I'm Dune. I'm the author. I'm the guy that wrote the story. And I thought maybe with this YouTube channel we could share some magic and learn a little bit from each other. My hope is that later on, as more kids read the books, they can upload magic tricks to share. So I thought I would start with the first one, make it easy. I want to talk a little bit about some of the concepts of magic, but the hope is that you could do this at home and start to learn how to do a little magic yourself. Now, if you know magic, then this is just a discussion, and we'll get to more complicated things later, right? So this is the very beginning for students who are new. My name is Dune. I'm Looney Dooney. I've been a professional magician for about 40 years, if you can believe that. I taught a lot of kids how to do magic, including my own kids. So my hope with these stories is that we all get excited about magic, right? Because I love magic. So there's a lot of things to remember. It's not just how the trick works. It's also the words that you say. It's also how you hold the props and how you present everything. And it's also how people think in order for magic to work. So let me teach you a trick. It's called Mr. Fantastic Plastic. Okay. All right, so now before I can teach you any magic tricks, you have to take the Magician's Oath, okay? At the beginning of every magic book is the Magician's Oath. This is an old book. I've had it for a long time, but it does have what I always use whenever I'm teaching kids. It's basically called the Magician's Oath. Here we go. Okay, so I want you to raise your hand and say the words with me. Say, I promise not to tell the secret that I learn here today to anyone else who hasn't taken this oath. Okay, and I also promise not to perform any magic for anyone until I've practiced the skills long enough that nobody can catch me. All right, so that's a pretty simple version of the Magician's Oath, but it's pretty hot. I'm going to go ahead and teach you a magic trick called Mr. Fantastic Plastic. Here we go. And Mr. Fantastic Plastic is a friend of mine. Here he is. See him? He's so cute. He's skinny. He's skinnier than me, but he's a pretty cool guy. The thing of it is, what he does is he is amazing. He is the best limbo person in the history of the world. Now, I know you don't believe me, but watch very closely. You ready? Here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my hand as the limbo board. Okay, here we go. Yun dun 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 da. Yun dun 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 da. Coming close. Yun dun 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 da. Oh, no, too close. Yun dun 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 da. Oh, wait a second. Yun dun 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 da. Good. Now we'll go backwards. Yun dun 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 da. Yun dun 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 da. Yun dun 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 da. See what I tell you? The most amazing limbo person in the world. Good job. You did a really good job. Bow to those guys. Good job. Really good job. Give him a big hand, Mr. Fantastic Plastic. So that's how the trick is done. Okay, that's a quick version of how the trick is done. Now, in order to do the trick, I can show you, obviously, but we're going to talk about some things first. Mr. Fantastic Plastic is not a person. He is a piece of plastic that's made very specially to do this trick. We make it ourselves. Okay, so here's how we make it. What we do is we start with the plastic bag. So you're going to want to get a plastic bag, and you're going to want to have your mom and dad help you. So the first thing I do is I cut off the zipper part of the plastic bag, just like that. Now, I suggest that you ask mom and dad to buy these, the cheapest ones they can find, because the new ones, the really expensive ones, don't work very well on this, but the cheaper ones work really good. Now that's not how it looks, right? That's not how Mr. Fantastic Plastic looks. Because all of this big fat green part is not part of the zipper lock thing. And all you want is the zipper lock thing. So I'm going to cut this down just like that. And it doesn't matter if it's perfect. I'm going to cut yeah, as long as it's close, right? Here we go. Mr. Fantastic Plastic, right? This was a little thicker, so I could trim it down if you want. I think I did this really as close as I could so that you guys could get a good view of it. All right, so I took a plastic bag and I cut the zipper part off. Easy peasy, right? Now, here comes the problem. Even if I just did that, it wouldn't work for this trick. Even if I just did that, it's still just the zipper out of a Ziploc bag. But now we're going to make it into a gimmick. And the way we make it into a gimmick, which means, okay, let me tell you what a gimmick is. A gimmick is something that looks like it's normal, like there's nothing unusual going on, but there's something built into it that helps us do our magic trick. It's called a gimmick, all right? So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to cut off the very end of the zipper thing. So now the ends are different. This one is sealed. This one is open. And what I can do now, just to show you, is I can take both sides apart, just like that. There's actually two parts to it, right? Now you don't ever want to show anybody that. That's what you keep secret. And I'm going to hook them together like a Ziploc. So now they're hooked together. All right? So now what happens is, let me see if I can show you how to do this. If I slide my finger up and my thumb down, or my thumb up and my finger down, just like that, and I push one side up and pull the other side down, I can make it bend whenever I want to. Now notice I'm not pushing my finger over to make it bend. I'm sliding one side up and one side down, just like that. So that's how the trick works. That's how I control Mr. Fantastic Plastic. First I make a gimmick, then I practice making him slide up and down whenever I want. Okay? Now that's pretty cool, but it's not a magic trick. You have to add the words to it. You have to add the movements to it. So here's what I do. The first thing I do is I give him some personality. I call him Mr. Fantastic Plastic. I show him to you. I introduce him as Mr. Fantastic Plastic. I give him some personality. I also want to show that he's just a piece of plastic, right? Mr. Fantastic Plastic. I tell you that he's the best limbo player in the world. So I give him, the story that I'm telling helps with the magic trick. He's the best limbo player in the world. Now I'm going to use my hand to create a limbo bar. And I use the song too. Dun 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 da, 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 dun 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 da. Now we'll go backwards. Dun 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 da, dun 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 da, dun 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 da, dun 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 da. Now it wouldn't be as magic if I did this without the sound, without the setup of the limbo, So it's the story actually is what makes a trick entertaining and what makes a trick work. Dun 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 da, dun 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 da, dun 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 da, dun 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 da. And then you'll notice at the end I didn't just end there, did I? I had him bow at me. I bowed at him. Good to see you. Good to see you. Bow at the audience. Bow, 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 bow. Mr. Fantastic Plastic. Give him a big hand of applause. And then, of course, I wouldn't show anybody that. I would quit. That's the trick. And I would keep it, and I wouldn't share that with anybody. Because once you share it, it becomes a trick. It becomes a gimmick. But if you don't share it, people will be going, how did he do that? How did he do that? So remember, there's lots of parts to a magic trick. There is the making of the gimmick, or using the gimmick, creating a gimmick. There's practicing how to use that gimmick. But the main part that really makes it a trick is creating the story. All right, so this particular trick, here's the story. Give him a name, give him a personality. This is called the script, right? Name, personality, introduce him, then say that he's the best limbo player in the world. I'm going to use my hand as the limbo bar. Here we go. Ready? Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Oh, there we go. Dun 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 dun. What a good guy. Dun 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 dun. Now we'll go backwards. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. What a great guy. Everybody here. Nice. You did a great job. You did. Oh, here, bow to the audience. Yes. 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 Mr. Fantastic Plastic. So that's the first trick that I'm going to give you. Now, the other thing is, I didn't make this up. I learned this somewhere else. I learned it from a guy. His name is Julian, and he's a magician. He lives in Australia, and he posted a bunch of videos for kids called Julian's Magic School. So I'm going to give you a link down below, because Julian's Magic School has tons of tricks for us to learn. So I'm going to teach you some that I invented, but I wanted to show you his site too. So don't forget to click on Julian's Magic Show below, or excuse me, Julian's Magic School below. And other than that, I'll also be coming up with some new books. I think I'm going to put a couple of readings from the book here on this site. And then, like I say, eventually I'm hoping that you kids will give me videos that we can post on the site for other kids. And then eventually I'm hoping to have abracadabra clubs all across the world where kids can meet together and practice some magic. So have fun with Mr. Fantastic Plastic, and I'll see you on the next time. Have a great day. Hey, I just wanted to mention one more thing, and that is that you're going to show your parents how to do this stuff, right? They're going to need to help you with the videos and with the practice and all that. So it's okay to share with your moms and dads. I just thought I'd let you know that. You want to keep the secret from your friends or anybody else you share it with. Okay? Have a great day. See you later.